In March 1962, Captain Gregory P. Thomas was tasked with moving a very specific payload across the Pacific Ocean. His passengers were 93 highly trained American soldiers deploying on a classified mission in the middle of the Cold War. To get them there, the military chartered a Flying Tiger Line super constellation, a massive propeller-driven workhorse of the era. The journey was supposed to be routine. After multiple stops for fuel, the plane departed Guam for the final leg to the Philippines. At 14:22 GMT, Captain Thomas radioed his position, confirming they had over 8 hours of fuel remaining and that everything was proceeding smoothly. Ocean crossing regulations required another check-in an hour later. But 10 minutes before that scheduled 15:30 update, the flight service station in Guam was suddenly overwhelmed by heavy radio static. Flight 739 never made that required position report. 30 minutes later, a supertanker called the Lenson was sailing through the pitch-black Pacific. A night watchman noticed a distinct vapor trail passing high above. Then the trail slipped behind a cloud, and the sky lit up with a silent mid-air explosion. Seconds later, flaming objects fell toward the water. The crew of the Lenson immediately checked their radar. They locked onto the falling objects and calculated the drop zone at exactly 17 miles away. They altered course and steamed straight toward those coordinates, expecting to pull survivors from the water. But when they arrived and swept the area with their spotlights, the ocean was entirely empty. The U.S. military launched an immediate search operation. Over 8 days, ships and aircraft scoured 190,000 square kilometers of ocean. They found absolutely nothing, except for a single mattress drifting 40 miles away from the Lenson's location. This creates a physical paradox. A massive commercial airliner carrying 107 people explodes in plain sight. An eyewitness tracks it on radar. A rescue ship arrives exactly where it fell, just minutes later, and finds absolutely zero trace of an aircraft. We can map the 4 hypotheses: mechanical, sabotage, missile, or cover-up, through the ultimate constraint, the complete absence of debris. Starting with mechanical, Flight 739 experienced repeated ignition issues on engines 1 and 3. Mechanics tried fixing it at multiple stops. This exact type of super constellation had a fatal vulnerability. 3 years earlier, TWA Flight 891 exploded mid-air because lightning ignited fuel vapors inside the wing tanks, triggering a catastrophic dual explosion. But the mechanical theory hits a wall. A vapor trail usually indicates a fuel leak, but the crew of the Lenson explicitly noted that the skies were mostly clear and there was absolutely zero lightning in the area to ignite those vapors. If the plane didn't blow itself up, someone else might have. The sabotage theory gains weight when you consider that a sister plane, Flying Tiger Flight 7816, also carrying a secret military cargo, crashed in Alaska on the exact same day. Furthermore, during its final refueling stop in Guam, Flight 739 was left completely unattended on an open, highly accessible tarmac for 15 minutes. Smuggling a bomb on board would have been relatively easy. Yet sabotage completely fails the debris filter. Standard explosives tear a fuselage apart in midair, scattering buoyant materials like seat cushions, luggage, and life rafts over a wide radius. A ship arriving at the epicenter 17 miles away would have navigated right into that wreckage. If it wasn't a bomb from the inside, it could be an attack from the outside. The Cold War context offers clear motives for Soviet or Viet Cong forces to shoot down an American military transport. But applying our zero debris filter here is even more problematic. As this map shows, surface-to-air impacts violently shred an aircraft, creating a wide scatterplot of wreckage across a massive, unavoidable surface radius. The Lenson sat right on the exact coordinates of the explosion. The absolute lack of a scattered debris field in the water strongly rules out a missile. This process of elimination leaves one final persistent theory. The United States government faked the explosion to safely land 93 operatives in enemy territory for a covert mission. Logistically, this makes very little sense. If you are trying to execute a secret operation, faking a mysterious aviation disaster is a terrible idea. It immediately draws the international press and the world's navies right to your doorstep. More importantly, hiding a plane is one thing. Hiding 107 people is another. 50 years have passed since the Vietnam War ended, and not a single passenger, defector, or leaked document has ever surfaced. Within a year, the Civil Aeronautics Board closed their investigation. They officially concluded that Flight 739 likely exploded, but admitted they could not find a single shred of evidence to prove how or why. Based on the limited facts, the most physically probable scenario is that a catastrophic event, whether a perfectly placed bomb or a sudden mechanical failure, caused a dual explosion so devastating it immediately destroyed the structural integrity of the heavy fuselage. The reason it vanished without a trace is brutal physics. Rather than scattering, the massive, dense remnants of the metal airframe plummeted in one piece, sinking like a stone into extreme depths before the ensign had time to close that 17-mile gap. The exact cause of that explosion remains buried. To this day, all United States military records regarding the true mission of Flight 739 remain heavily classified. We know precisely when the plane was lost, we have eyewitnesses who saw it happen, and we even have radar data tracking its fall. Yet the sheer scale of the Pacific Ocean swallowed 107 souls, leaving us with nothing but empty water.